It was announced today that Walter, aka Logan Gilbert, is going to be the Game 1 starter for the Seattle Mariners against the Houston Astros in Game 1 of the ALDS. Now this makes complete sense. Castillo pitched Game 1 against the Blue Jays, Robbie Ray pitched Game 2 against the Blue Jays, and Kirby closed out the 9th in that second wildcard game as well. Logan stands tall amongst his competition of Marco Gonzalez and Chris Flexen. Logan Gilbert has also been the best pitcher for the Seattle Mariners in terms of starting pitching against the Houston Astros all season. In 25 innings pitched, Logan has a 2.52 ERA across 4 starts. He gave up 21 hits, 7 earned runs, only 1 home run, and struck out 22 batters. Between his 4 starts, they were split between at home and on the road, and even in Minute Maid Park, Logan Gilbert found great success. In his 2 starts on the road, he went 6 innings in each start. He gave up 7 hits in the first, 5 hits in the second, 3 earned runs in the first start, 2 runs in the second start. He gave up 1 home run in the second start, but didn't give up 1 in the first start. He walked a couple batters in both, and then struck out 3 in the first start and struck out 6 in the second. So decent success across both starts there in Minute Maid Park, and I think Logan Gilbert is the best pitcher to replicate that kind of success on the road. This will be the highest leverage moment for Logan Gilbert in his professional career so far, and he's going to need to shine for the Mariners to have a chance in Game 1. But where does this leave the rest of the Mariners pitching staff for the rest of the series? I'm going to take you through some of my thoughts really quick. Luis Castillo gets the nod in Game 2. No questions around it for me. Luis Castillo shoved against a very prominent Blue Jays lineup. On the road, he can do it in foreign environments, and I think he can do it again against the Houston Astros. He would give us our best chance at winning Game 2, no matter what the outcome of Game 1 is. Now, heading back home to Game 3 is a bigger question mark about where you go, because Robbie Ray struggled in Game 2 against the Blue Jays, and Kirby, although he was used out of the bullpen, I do not think that eliminates him from having a chance to start at home in Seattle. Kirby did look a little bit uncomfortable on the mound in the 9th, but I don't know whether or not that was because it was a relief appearance or if it was because he was on the road in a very high stress situation. However, Game 3 in my head does go to George Kirby. Depending on how they use the bullpen could affect this outcome, but I would give the ball to George Kirby in Game 3, regardless of the situation. We've had decent success with most of our relievers against the Houston Astros all season. 2 of our better relievers, Eric Swanson and Paul Sewald, did not give up a single run against the Astros in their appearances this season. Both had scattered hits and struck out a decent amount of batters, working very effectively against the Houston Astros lineup. The ace up our sleeve in the bullpen is definitely Andres Munoz. Scott Service has used him very effectively so far in the postseason against the Blue Jays, and I expect him to try and do that again against the Astros. In his appearances against the Astros this year, Munoz went 5 innings across 5 different games, gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs, and 5 strikeouts. Those 2 earned runs came in one specific appearance on July 28th. Pitchers in the bullpen that I would like to see Scott Service avoid using in this series. Number 1 on my list is Matt Festa. No disrespect to Matt Festa. However, against the Astros this season, he was our worst pitcher. Over 5 innings, he gave up 9 hits and 4 earned, and struck out 5 and gave up 1 home run. Matt Festa, just something, the Astros just see him well. It just doesn't work out when Matt Festa's on the mound against the Houston Astros. A pitcher I do have a lot of confidence in using against the Astros is Penn Murphy, the reliever that saw the most innings against them this season. Across 14 innings pitched, Murphy struck out 12, only gave up 5 hits and 1 earned, and walked 3 batters. Murphy, I think, could be very effective against the Houston Astros, as he's done that all regular season. Again, not a lot of postseason experience for the Mariners in their bullpen. However, I do think they can be used effectively, and Scott can implement them in the right ways. Now, I did set the precedence earlier by saying I want George Kirby pitching Game 3, and this originates from the Mike Salk show, which I'm sure many of you are very familiar with. Shannon Drayer pretty much agrees also that George Kirby should start Game 3, and they later went on to discuss how Robbie Ray and what his utilization might be within this series, and I think a lot of people in Seattle might agree his stuff might be best used in the bullpen. Adding another piece like Robbie Ray to that bullpen could be very pivotal in key high-stress moments, especially against some left-handed bats in that lineup like Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez. We do have 2 other long relievers that are both left-handed in Marco Gonzalez and Matthew Boyd that we can use at our disposal as well. However, adding Robbie Ray into that mix, I think, bolsters the bullpen more than we can ever imagine, and also he's gotten lit up against the Astros in the past, over 10 and 2/3. He's got an ERA over 10, so maybe isolating Robbie Ray's usage could help him perform better against this Astros lineup. A lot is going to ride on the Seattle Mariners pitching staff against this series against the Astros. Keeping that lineup quiet while our lineup goes to work is going to be key. Whether or not we can replicate putting up 14 runs across 2 games like we did against the Blue Jays against the Houston Astros pitching staff, that is yet to be seen. However, I do have faith that the Mariners can put the ball in play and score some runs. And of course, with Robbie Ray being added to the bullpen in this hypothetical situation here, Where does that leave Game 4 and Game 5 should we get there if necessary? We had Gilbert, Castillo, and Kirby. Well, it's the playoffs. In playoffs, pitchers go on short rest. So in Game 4 and Game 5, we're going back to Gilbert and Castillo if at all necessary. This is very common practice in the playoffs, especially in the last decade or so. Pitchers like Madison Bumgarner, Max Scherzer, Clayton Kershaw, all noteworthy performances in the playoffs where they come in on short rest or even go for a little bit of a relief at the end of the game because their presence on the mound is just so dominating. Now let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Do we have the right idea for the ALDS playoff rotation for the Seattle Mariners here? I think we do, but obviously let us know what you guys think down below. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and if you want to get hyped up before we take on the Astros, check out this wildcard recap video we did against the Blue Jays, hyping up the Seattle Mariners postseason victory. As always, go Mariners.